I think, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Funky Marketing Podcast. Time for another episode and time to talk about the things we actually didn't talk about for a while. I have a guest. Roman is joining me all the way from Rotterdam, if I'm not wrong, and we're going to talk about paid search and social strategies for B2B SaaS companies. So, Roman, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you told me that you're kind of nervous because you're trying to balance like the family, private life, young kid, and the business on one side. So how's that going?
Well, it's definitely not straightforward. So now I had to kind of tell my wife to go outside because otherwise we will have my son coming here. But trying to handle that, split the work, especially when you work from home. It's like you have the kids around and then you have to work, you have calls. So yeah, trying to make sure that nothing is disrupted. But yeah, otherwise. Everything good.
Yeah, it reminds me of the times when the COVID hit, and I had a client from Switzerland, like the CEO of a big company. He was joining the call while feeding the baby, and it was like the nicest things that I have seen because it was all madness around us, all lockdown, and then this guy who is actually feeding the baby, right on the call.
Yeah. I think before we weren't ready for that. Now I kind of used to that and working from home for a couple of years. So it's good, but yeah, we need to make it work.
Yeah, we as humans get used to a lot of stuff, and I usually say, and each one of us learns about themselves when they get kids, and get
Yeah,
into those
it's completely
those
different
kind of
lifestyle. Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so tell me the audience a little bit about your background. What did you do so far, and why you are the guy to talk with when it comes to the paid channels.
So I will maybe start with where I am now. So I am the founder of Grouts Online. So we are B2B SaaS agency focusing on paid ads, and we help with Google Ads, LinkedIn Ads primarily, and also on other platforms. And how I got here is basically that I worked in-house in a B2B SaaS company for over 3 years or for 3 years. And then, I learned a lot and decided to kind of start sharing my knowledge on LinkedIn. I think now it's 2 years. And I think it was just it's 2 years since we are in touch because you reached out to me at the time. So yeah, I kept posting, and then people started reaching out to me, and I started helping multiple clients, and then I decided to go full time on this thing. So I started as consultant, and now I'm kind of turning it into agency. So I have a team for that.
Love that. So maybe that's something to start with. As I was just preparing a report for a client when it comes to comparing the search and paid social and all those stuff, and telling them how did we do in the last 3 months. So maybe a good starting point would be to kind of explain to the listeners what are some of the key differences between actually paid search and paid social, and maybe alongside that the best strategies to leverage each of them.
Sure. Yeah. So the main difference between paid search and maybe I would just tell LinkedIn ads, let's say for B2B SaaS, is that in paid search, you can quickly get the results where you can have big spikes in the beginning when there's existing category and not huge competition. So we can quickly grow. Of course, you need to optimize that you can get to these levels with some work, but it can be pretty quick. In 3 months or in 6 months, you are basically reaching the limit, and that is where it's the difference. So then with paid social, it's the opposite. So you basically start with start slower. Basically, the results aren't that fast, and you are kind of building that, seeing like how the audience is engaging and kind of building this awareness. And over time, after these like 3 to 6 months, you start generating like the signals in terms of the leads that you generated converting to pipeline, and kind of the deals are started closing. So that's the main difference I see. So the paid search is like you reach the limit of the search volume and kind of the things that you can do to expand. You can expand, but it's usually not that effective. And with paid social, you kind of build the foundation of like the awareness, and then start generating the basically reaching the audience, and then trying to convert that. So with experimentation, finding what works and how to bring the people to the website, and also educate them about what you actually do, because they need some time to get the problem that you solve and the solution that you have.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that we didn't mention yet demand creation, demand generation, and those kind of terms. So that's actually good. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of
we can
people will
avoid
say,
that
"Oh,
to we can avoid that to avoid
exactly."
any like
I
things.
totally, I totally agree. I'm kind of like, bored of explaining. Ah, this is this, this is this. You know, like we can explain it in much simpler way, so people can actually understand. Okay, I love the way you compare the two, but how do we actually start? You know, how do guide me through your process? You know, let's talk not talk general, but let's talk how your process goes when you need to set up the paid channels.
Sure. So basically, when let's say I would go like just through the process that we have. So when we start with client, we typically do like some audit of everything what we need to do, understanding the market, and based on that we do some audience research, I would say. So it's like what keywords people are searching and what is the audience that we can target, and then also retargeting audiences. So then basically understanding who we can reach and how, and based of that, so we build like the paid search structure. So the first keywords that we want to target, and like set up the landing pages for that and everything. So there we kind of lay the foundation for the paid search, and then with paid social, we typically like start with retargeting. So some like tactics to leverage the existing audience that is on the website or from the previous engagement, and then also start building the code layer, which is like targeting the new audiences of the like ideal clients. So like you can like leverage job titles or like target account list and start reaching the audience. And when I would go like specific, then we kind of identify which content we have, which we can repurpose, and what we need to produce new. So for the retargeting, we do not have assets for lead generation, for example, like for the demo request. We try to do it first to see, okay, is there anything that we can capture? So we allocate it there. We learn some like simple tactics like text ads, spotlight ads. So we start like running the ads. We start learning from the data and reaching out to this audience. And then also with the code layer, how we can kind of efficiently generate the traffic, the engagement, the views. Or like the views from videos, so we can build these retargeting audiences over time. So yeah, just trying to understand how to allocate the budget, and like first, let's say 2-3 months, we are kind of monitoring that and tracking what signals we get, like from the direct attribution or from the self-reported attribution. And then we also use tool to understand like if there is any influence already on the deals. So yeah, basically this is like the first things that we do to set up the foundation. And then of course there's no one solution to every company. We kind of test and iterate what we should use towards this audience, if how we should expand the content in the code layer, or what kind of retargeting content we should use. If it should be like product focused, or if we should be more like nurturing, like actually using more like the testimonials, case studies, and how we should allocate budget there.
Okay, so you said a lot. Let me try to unpack some of the
Sure.
things and go specific. Um, a question: when you are working with SaaS companies, is it the common thing that they have enough people visiting the website that you can start with retargeting, right away on social, or it's the more common thing is that they don't have enough traffic and you need to start from the cold audience and actually build the retargeting audience on social.
So in most of the cases, it's already where they have some foundations, where they have the traffic.
Nice, that's actually good.
Maybe they were running already something in paid search, which was somehow good. So then we try to leverage that. And also from the paid search, within first month, we generate enough traffic that we can retarget. So yeah, there is of course some timeline before you build like big enough audiences to have people who will convert from the retargeting. But usually we see enough people. But otherwise, as you mentioned, we would go more towards the code layer audiences with some content that will kind of help us build that within the ICP with, I don't know, something what has good engagement like thought leader ads, videos, or good document ads. These are good for building these audiences quickly.
Perfect. Okay, before I ask you, like maybe some examples, maybe we can go a little step back before we get into the campaigns and what actually can we do. Let's talk a little bit about the landing pages, right? I see a lot of stuff, and I'm now going to behave like somebody who have no idea about it. And usually clients say, okay, so you can use the homepage or you can use the product page, right, for advertising, right? Usually they are not the ones who say, oh, let's maybe create a custom page or even pages. That comes a lot later,
Yeah.
so from the start, what are some requirements that you need landing page to have to actually do successfully paid advertising?
So when I would focus on paid search in this case, is that the landing page needs to be like relevant. So if like the product page is relevant enough to kind of drive the traffic there, then I would even start with that, and then kind of launch soon to kind of get the traffic, the algorithm learning, and within few weeks prepare the landing page that is tailored to the paid search. So you can start with that, but you cannot keep running the campaigns targeting just homepage, because the conversion will be lower, and yeah, definitely better to tailor that. So how we approach that is typically we have some set of keywords that we are targeting there, and then based on the after we launch, based on the volume and based on the search terms and yeah, how much traffic we generate, we then decide which first batch we will create. So we will create just 3 landing pages for these top keywords, and yeah, optimize these, and then we will do it for other batch later when we see it converting as well. So that's typically how we approach it, mainly for paid search, and then yeah, kind of deciding based on data how we are making the changes.
Yeah, I love that. You start with what you have, with usually with something that is already getting organic traffic,
Yeah.
right? As a potentially like homepage, but the thing for the homepage is the traffic is going all around the website, right? So PPC in that case, like the search becomes something that is actually, being a fuel for organic as well in that
Yeah.
way, something that a lot of people don't think about when they think about paid or advertising. They usually need to go together, especially in this day and age. So one thing I wanted to ask you, since we are talking about the SaaS companies, um, usually there's a competition over there. So I wanted to ask you, how do you look at the initial setup, right? Sure, in now when I'm thinking about it, you probably have brand separated, depending if they already have like organic traffic. You probably have like maybe competitors, or you can use dynamic ads, whatever it is for that. And how do you actually set up the rest of the, I mean, it can be campaigns from the start, or it can be ad sets. but related to the USP, to your differentiation, to those kind of things. I'm going nitty gritty because this is something that I want to talk about. That's the only reason.
Yeah, so if we go like specifically to the structure, then yeah, definitely branded search separately. So and also excluded from the other campaigns because it can get easily like captured when you don't exclude that. Then with competitors, and also leverage like competitor plus alternative. Like the name plus competitor and like these kind of things, which are like more high intent. So there you can combine that in one ad group and maybe separate later, but yeah, depends on what the volume have. And then with the other campaigns, yeah, it's always based on the keyword research. How much keywords do you have? How many keywords do you have? And how much budget you have as well, because yeah, then you cannot like start spending and targeting everything. So you shortlist where you have where you trust it's the most relevant, where you should start, and basically then you I don't know, create maybe one or two or three different campaigns based on the different topics. So and then like the ad sets, the ad groups are also separated by different topics. So yeah, if it is like the software keywords, then you have them like in one campaign, and then maybe you have more like generic keywords that are more like solution focused or something specific, then you have it separately in other campaign. So then it depends how you then want to control the budget allocation. So that's typically how you need to think about it, because when you set up the campaigns, then you need to make sure that you allocate the budget to the campaign that where you see the most potential, and then based on data you also allocate the budget there as well. And maybe the other campaign you need to have it separately. Maybe it's also cheaper traffic, but also it has lower conversion rate, so you do not allocate the budget there that much.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, basically, the goal is always in the first 3 months, but even realistically, if you look at it in the first month, to to kind of see which keywords are working, which have the potential. Is it going okay? Is the landing page okay? Is the copy okay? Did we choose the right keywords? And basically convince the company that this is the way to go, and actually prove that that's realistic, not that it's just in our head. But one thing I wanted just to add for the people, then you follow how the campaigns are performing, how the keywords are performing, and when you see the good keyword, then you create the new ad set and you elaborate more on that and give it more space. Basically, it's the way I usually see people talking about paid search is like, there it's super hard, super, but when you actually know the strategy, you understand the bigger picture. It just comes to technicalities that you can actually create the campaign and make it work like you are talking in theory, right? Do you agree with me?
Yeah, basically if you like know the foundation, how to kind of set it up for B2B and how the B2B works, then you can typically get some foundation and then learn from that. So maybe you will learn in the first one that the competition is so high, so you cannot overbid them with your budget, and you need to allocate it to different channel basically. So but yeah, usually you can find something that works, kind of fine tune these technicalities, and then optimize the conversion rate. So typically when you already see something is converting, you are generating the leads, the demo requests, then you are actually like, that you are going the right direction. And typically it's like what I see, it's like the 20% of the keywords generate like 80% of the results. So it's like just this Pareto principle there as well. And maybe after 3 to 6 months, you will just pause half of the keywords out of the campaigns, because it's not generating anything, and you can leverage the budget somewhere else.
I totally agree. So let's talk about. So we're talking about SaaS. The competition is out of this world. We all seen this, screenshot of 2 million companies competing in the same industry. So that's why the paid social is one of the channels that can actually give us the advantage and can go before the intent. before people actually go searching, they can have us, and start thinking about us, and we can have interaction with them both organically and through paid. So, guide me a little bit. How do you look at the paid search, especially now we're talking about SaaS, so it's LinkedIn mostly, right?
Yeah, basically mostly LinkedIn ads, and like in our case, it's like the primary platform to reach the audiences that we are targeting. And the key there is basically to understand who you are targeting and then like properly work on the segmentation. So also like the having like the even if it paid search, but with LinkedIn as having the market fit, the kind of knowing the persona is key there.
Something stopped. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, let's start with targeting on LinkedIn, because that can be something a lot of people who didn't use LinkedIn properly or just coming to the platform, and it's a lot of companies that I'm seeing, especially the bigger ones, are now coming to LinkedIn, utilize it organically or through paid. They don't know how actually to because it's the targeting is much better than on any other platform when we come to specific roles or specific jobs descriptions and those kind of things. And there are a lot of nuances over there. One thing I like to emphasize, it's usually like the newest job position, for example, like job analyst. You don't have like senior job analyst or media or those kind of things, and you need to be careful about a lot of stuff related to that when you are choosing the audience. So how do you look at that, and what do you start with?
So yeah, it's not easy in all the cases. So sometimes you have like straightforward job titles which you can like set up. Then it's kind of firmographics, industries. In the best case, also the target account list. So then you can define that directly in LinkedIn. Even before you start running the campaigns, you can also see who are the job titles in that. So we can use the audience insights there, kind of refine the audience, exclude the titles that you don't want, and let's say define first one or two core audiences that you want to target. So typically you will find something that is relevant enough that you can target. And then it's the first campaign that or first audience that you can use and kind of target it for like with the content that you have targeted toward this persona and see how they engage. If like then you get the engagement from the right people. So with the targeting, you kind of create that. And then when you launch the campaigns, you probably will get some engagement on the content that you have. So then you can also check who are the people who are engaging, if they are relevant. And then definitely trying to avoid, or not trying to, definitely avoid the audience expansion, audience network, and all this stuff that is there to kind of go beyond the audience that you define.
Yeah, so basically the way I'm looking at it, if we already have a traffic on the website, we try to see if it's enough. So we go with retargeting campaigns.
Yeah,
So
true.
we actually, get more results for less money, right? If not, want it or not, we need to go and create start from the cold audience and actually, go through each step that usually companies like uh, to avoid, right? Most of the companies have a need to go and, turn on the lead ads and actually start getting leads and giving them an ebook or something like that. Yeah. Tell me why this is wrong.
Yeah, so yeah, that's true. Like the second part is retargeting, which I wanted to mention. But yeah, in terms of that, avoiding the cold player, it's like first of all you learn the audience is there, and maybe it's not wrong even like to start running the ebook lead gen. You can get some learnings and see if you are actually getting the right people in like from the campaigns, like the leads. But it shouldn't be definitely the only tactic focused on like the lead volume. So and it helps you to kind of build the awareness, build the retargeting audiences. And with retargeting, you have people who were somehow interested in your product, in your company, when they visited your website. But it is like just limited amount of people that visited your website. Maybe some of them are in market or just doing research. But in this cold audience, there is also a portion of people who are in market, and so you want to kind of reach them, get them engaged, and get them into these retargeting audiences to move them to the funnel where you can kind of offer them something or show them something that will be interesting to them.
Right. So tell me, how do you think about creatives? Because usually the way I see it, creatives are basically the key to success in today's world, especially when it comes to advertising. And not just advertising, but everything. If you look at like TikTok, it's reels. YouTube, it's reels again. If they're coming on LinkedIn, I guess LinkedIn is
Yeah.
just trying to to align with other platforms, so we don't need to create separate advertisement creatives and those kind of things for the platform. But usually what now I think we're trying to we're starting to see different things, but like even a few months ago, the most ads that we would see in the feed are those like corporate branding, stock photos, these kind of things. And from my experience working with companies, I know that they don't work the way that they would like them to work, because they basically don't get our attention in today's world.
Yeah, that is true. With the last point about the kind of corporate creatives, like corporate blue with some stock photos, and yeah, it maybe worked like 10 years ago when there wasn't that much advertising on LinkedIn, but now it's changed and there's much more competition, like across the board. Everyone is trying to catch your attention, so you need to be more creative. So yeah, there you can use the kind of branded approach, where you have the branded product ads, kind of talking about the product. There's nothing wrong about it. You kind of want to push the people towards the action, so you are using that, and you kind of want to build also the brand familiarity as well. But otherwise, you need to be more creative with how you visualize that. So not like just only stock photo, or what content do you use. So like the best ads are the ads that do not look like ads. So make it more organic, engaging. Like yeah, people are posting on all the platforms organically, so on LinkedIn as well. I myself run the ads with like thought leader ads, so I promote my own posts. And yeah, like the videos like this from the podcast, where someone shares the value, is also something where people will stop, kind of consume the content, and then basically they will get to know you, also the problem you are talking about, the solution you solve. And then basically after, like, they get something else than just the product ad, then you can show them the product as well. So you kind of build the mix of the ad creatives, and yeah, you try to make it like educational, entertaining, and then also you can in the mix use something that will be more, like, say, just the pure advertisement of your solution.
Yeah, so basically, what I'm thinking about and how I'm thinking about advertising part of the LinkedIn strategy is that basically I'm trying to emphasize what I'm already doing organically. Creating relationships with people, engaging, creating red content, and what I want to do, I want to make sure that each one of the companies that I'm targeting is seeing everything that I create.
Yeah.
Right. And usually the way people think about it, they skip some steps, and I want to ask you, do you do that? Because I usually do that. With awareness, okay, we want to create a video, we want to have like single image ads just to kind of get that feeling. But the second layer that I always do when it comes to getting them to action and engage, I like to use memes.
Yeah.
For example, all depends on the company, but memes provoke reaction from the people, right? We use that organically. Why don't people use them in the ads?
Yeah, that was before you finished the sentence. Before you said it, I had that first on my mind. So it's also like this
Nice.
part, and it can perfectly like address the pain point. So you can just put it there, and then basically, yeah, that's the way. That's the thing I mentioned before. Like, you are trying to find the ways how to kind of have the campaigns efficient. So where you can like cheaper engage the audience and get them to know your brand. And this is one of these tactics. So this or the videos where you can like just retarget the people who watched certain part of the video and so on. So yeah, that's definitely a great tactic, and it has good engagement, and also it can even like generate like the deals as well. So I have experience with that, where we see some even like from cold layer generated deals from that closed. So that, you know, why.
Nice.
And also it doesn't have to be like only thing you do. You can experiment with that on the side. So it's like let's not do memes because we don't like it, our target persona don't like it. You can just try for a few months, 10% of the budget, and then you see, okay, let's prove us wrong. So it's like just the experimentation approach is important there, because then you can miss out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that approach, because usually companies, everybody knows something about marketing, and then inside the company everybody has an opinion, and then what goes out is usually vanilla, right? But we need to get the answer from the audience and to do it as fast as possible so we can optimize and show them the right content the right way. And usually, what I'm seeing, companies don't think about it, especially like the companies who are, for example, even the smaller ones, a lot of them behave like corporations and don't utilize, the size of the company and flexibility and all those other things. I wanted to ask you, because I didn't try that on LinkedIn ads, but I've been doing it on Meta and especially on Facebook in the past, and I want to ask you if it's working. Maybe maybe you don't. Maybe we'll try it in the future. But I usually like to, because usually we work with companies to create a kind of strategic narrative, right? And then we have good versus evil. The part when we unite our audience against the common enemy, right? And I used to do that with a company who is kind of like affiliate for the banks. Let's call it like that. Basically, they consult people and tell them, like, this is the best bank for what you want to do. But people don't know that's happening behind this, under the surface. So the enemy is the bank, right? And what comes to our mind, what is the one sentence that comes to your mind when it comes to the bank? Banks only think about themselves, right? So what I did, I used that on a visual, like huge letters, banks only think about themselves, and basically, get people to try to schedule more calls. They were free consultations, and people started to basically fight with each other. They tried to curse on the banks, tag other people, give me the link, I want to schedule the consultation, right? So we lower a lot the cost of the ads, and we got the reach organically through that. I don't know if you tried that, but it seems like something that can be working also for the B2B companies, and especially LinkedIn, where engagement is now booming.
Yeah, I do not have experience with, let's say, this kind of strong statement. So it usually needs to be something like that disruptive, where you like actually find this kind of claim where you can say something. It is like, Apple versus IBM. They had also like this big enemy, but now they are like this company, and it's like the other companies are attacking them. So I didn't see that, but I agree with the strategic narrative. So it's something what you want to find. So yeah, it's like this outdated version doesn't work. You should solve this problem this way, and it requires much more education in most cases, where you can, because like the people are like, just, I have this problem, I want to solve it, but they are kind of not open yet to solve it the new way. So you need to adjust towards like still kind of solving the same problem they have, give them the solutions they want, and on the side also educate. Maybe during the sales process, it can be like the activation after they become the customer. You can educate them, you can shift to this strategy, and it will be much more efficient and effective for your company. So yeah, I think that's good to have something defined, and then find the strategy how to get it to the market. So yeah, you can just look, you can make it easier for you, because like just convincing everybody about something new is not that easy.
Yeah, I love that. Since we are already talking about some of the things, new things, or some of the things you mentioned, thought leadership ads. Let's get a little bit into that. I guess that was the last innovation, let's call it like that, that LinkedIn added, and a lot of people are talking about it. I'm yet to try thought leadership ads for the newsletter. I saw that I can, so now I will try it on. But tell me, what are your experiences? How are you using the thought leadership ads for yourself and for the clients?
Yeah, so basically, I would say what is the benefit? So someone is like who is creating organic content on their personal profiles, they can promote their post currently like with LinkedIn ads, and the benefit is that it's not like random people who engage with see your content based on the engagement that you get and based on your followers, but you can target the targeted audiences that you can define on LinkedIn. So either like retargeting or like the cold audiences. And yeah, I have like good experience with that, where it has like high engagement. So like there's a like all the engagement that is counted is like all the small clicks that are around, like see more and everything. But if you have a good content, like some like frameworks, like really valuable content, then it has super high engagement, and you can capture the attention of the audience because it looks organic. It is the content is targeted towards the specific audience as well. So then you have high engagement, and which you can then leverage in retargeting. And I see that across the clients, and it really what I see, it really matters what is the content. So for example, I run it for myself, and I see like some posts that were like viral. They have let's say good engagement rates, good CTRs, and then I have posts that were very narrow that are towards this specific audience, where I see
Mm-hmm.
okay, B2B SaaS CMO of like I know Series A company, and it's like in the first line, it had like just hundreds of impressions, so it wasn't like viral, it was very narrow. But when I promote it towards this audience, it has like 30% CTR. So then you see like how is it targeted, and the content is relevant, so they engage a lot with that. So, and also like in my case, I can leverage this engagement, kind of connect with these people, and yeah, basically start conversations this way. And yeah, with our clients, it's typically all like the best is when it is the founder. So like it is, if it is founder-led marketing, so they are posting their experience, why they're start or not why they started, but what problem they are solving, and kind of what they typically were the personal. So they are posting about that. So if you include images, it's even better. And yeah, also videos are great. So if you are recording podcast, then you can distribute the content that you create directly to the audience that you want to reach. And yeah, I have a good experience with that, and it has good engagement, and also it kind of is it doesn't look like an ad, so then it's more engaging, and it's
Mm-hmm.
much efficient to build the audiences as well.
Yeah, and basically I see it as, as everything is going towards direction, that B2C is getting to B2B, meaning the people in front of the companies, and especially on LinkedIn when personal profiles are dominating. I think it's a great way to actually show the executives of the companies, right? And to show their way of thinking, their vision, the story, and everything else and at the same time to convert, right? And what I
Yeah.
think, I didn't see many people talking about it, but if I'm the C level of a SaaS company, and that I see that my posts are generating leads for us, you know, it would make me even want to do more related to paid, to LinkedIn, to everything else. So I guess that can be a good tactic for internal marketing team to kind of get them on board with what they are doing and more involved inside all of that.
Yeah. In that case, it's like always with these employee advocacy kind of programs, or kind of making this like yeah, convince someone to start posting on LinkedIn within the company. So it needs to be definitely aligned. And if like these people do not have much time to spend on like creating the content, then try to provide as much as help as possible. But yeah, I would recommend or suggest to avoid AI at all, like AI generated content. Like really keep it authentic, and what is like the opinion of that person. Like help them with the formatting, how it should look, and what kind of content you should use. But avoid like the AI generated posts, because yeah, it's like just it's not adding value. So that's something what I would note there. But yeah, then basically that's what you said. It is influencing the whole marketing. So I think it's important to leverage that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of good stuff are happening. A few questions. Does it the size of the copy of the text in thought leadership ads matter? And does it matter if you go into the details and share, like, I don't know, like our friend Justin Grove is sharing, for example, like, this is how many budgets we spent, this is how many leads we got, and he adds that to the thought leadership ads. Do we need to go that deep, or we can go with something which is much more like easier to create?
Well, yeah, it is up to like what you can create, or what content you have available, so you can repurpose that. But otherwise, I think this example is that you are adding so much value, so like it will make it more engaging. So you can try to kind of take shortcuts, but I think like taking time and kind of getting the best value that you can is the best option. And it can be also sort of, let's say, I just spoke with CEO of this company. These are our customers, and this is the problem they have. And like we talked about that, and you can this kind of like turn it into some page, and then basically it's like the kind of anonymized case study. You do not have to go through all the whole process of like approvals. You can create sort of anonymized case study, just mention some statistics, and yeah, then you have a good post about like what you do, what is the problem that you solve, and you have also social proof there. So it can be simple as that, and you can test these kind of post types.
Yeah, thanks. That's actually a good example, and the easier way that you can come up with content, because a lot of people talk with customers and come up with different stuff. That's actually great. So, two questions I have. Actually, it's one. What would you recommend when it comes to LinkedIn ads to the companies that have, let's say, under 5K budget, and to those that have maybe above 5K budget? Because that is something that I get a lot, right? And usually what I do after analyzing, and especially if I'm not the one who is actually doing the implementation, that happens a lot because they usually hire me to come up with the strategy and those kind of things. Um, I give them like 5 different scenarios regarding, depending on a budget,
Yeah.
what they can do. So I'm asking to see, how are you thinking, how are you actually doing this? If you have real examples, go ahead.
Well, I will try, but it always depends on the full context. So if let's say in the media mix is also budget for some other paid media channels, then yeah, I would look at how to split it. So if you already have the traffic
Let's say only LinkedIn for the
on the
sake of
LinkedIn,
the context. Yeah.
yeah. So then let's say within the tactics, I would definitely start with retargeting. So making sure that it's on and you're targeting the right audience. You can add qualifications, so which seniorities as well, like exclude the irrelevant people, and like use text ads like that. So you kind of start, let's say, nurturing and kind of growing awareness within the existing audience. And yeah, then with the if you have enough budget then like left, then which you should have, then yeah, define the cold layer audience for the below 5,000 budget, and kind of yeah, like define the one audience that you want to target, or like the most specific segment that you can target based on your customer base, based on like your conversion rates and everything. So, and then like what content and messaging you are going to use, and really spend time on the preparation before you launch it. So retargeting, you can launch it as soon as possible. With cold layer, I would like to rather spend more time on like finding like what is the right targeting and like what messaging and content we should use. So and make sure that it is set up correctly. So all these technicalities like kind of measurement, disabling audience expansion, audience network, and everything like that. So yeah, then just making sure that you have it as much correct as possible. So you have the good foundation, and in that case you need to expect that it will take time. So like really do not have high expectations from that. So what I recommend is commit to at least 6 months. So in total, you have to allocate this budget, and then you need to make sure that you do not give up after 1 month it doesn't work. So that's during the time you obviously like optimize the targeting, you are refreshing the content, you are testing. You can test less because you have smaller budget, but you still can kind of refresh the things and find what is working better. And
then sorry to interrupt you. Like, and then comes the CEO of the company and says, "Okay, we invested 2 months. What did we get? Nothing. Let's just stop it. We are posting memes." Right? I'm just making fun of it because usually that sometimes that happens. But I want to ask you one additional thing. So, what happens with the frequency these days in B2B SaaS, especially when we talk about LinkedIn ads? You know, how much of a frequency is like the top that we need to change the creatives and switch and serve them something different?
So I think let's say split that, or maybe if we go to like across all the ad creatives, if it is called or retargeting, I would say if it goes above 3 and like 3 to 5, it's already too high, and we should refresh that. And you will see that on the performance as well. But if I would look like on the tactic level, so I would say 3 to 5 on the code layer. So you kind of engage the audience. We are kind of reaching that consistently. And on retargeting, it can be like 15 to 30, depending on what is your audience size. Maybe you can try to let's say more with less, where you try to go narrow with the audiences. So instead of watching like 50% viewers, you will go to 90% viewers. You will have smaller, more interested audiences, and you can kind of boost the frequency there. And the reason why is that you want, because if it is like 30-day period, you have I don't know 20 like the frequency is 20, then you show the ad let's say every second day. So basically like 20 days from the month, they saw your brand and they will remember you. And if you run it for 1 year, they will definitely remember you. And when it is relevant and the content was interesting and the offer is relevant, then they will convert at some point and they will come to the website, and they will always like re-engage if you offer something interesting.
Love that. I was asking you because we are bombarded these days with Temu ads, Temu,
Yeah.
whatever do we call it. Like, it's crazy. It's all around the place, but it's totally different than SaaS because that's a marketplace, right? And it's not the same. You don't need people to remember it. It's totally different. And
Yeah.
I ask you only because of that. I was looking at right before the call, the stats for the paid search for I don't know, real estate, selling luxury apartments, and like the whole process takes around 8 days and 3.5 touch points. And you would expect for a luxury apartment that it takes a lot more. So I guess it all depends, like on a specific industry, company, brands, and what you should add. But I wanted you to say it for the LinkedIn so people can really know, like 3 to 5 step points, and then in retargeting, it's much more.
Yeah. It's basically like the let's say, foundation of advertising. It's about making sure that people remember you and they are familiar with you, and you need to remind yourself. So that's the goal of advertising. So you have some kind of, let's say, brand, building the brand, and then you have next to it some like sales. Like with demo, you have like a lot of product ads, and maybe you have also some brand, and you kind of combine that and make sure that over the year you are still always on. And that's the goal with LinkedIn ads, because the sales cycle is like on average longer than 6 months. So then you need to make sure that you cover this kind of buyer journey, or like for longer time than just 1 month or like few days, like you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for the guys who maybe don't know what the frequency is, it's how often we see actually the advertisement. And if we keep seeing the same thing for like 5 months in the feed, we will of course remove it from the feed, right? One day we will just wake up and we see it, we will remove it. But that's why we follow the frequency, and we maybe change the creatives, change those things, so they also get the feeling, that we are actually doing something. It's not like, I always like to say that news like articles. If we have new features, new products, something's happening in the team, even only that thing can influence people. But tell me, we have one more thing. If you have more than 5K budget, what do you suggest then?
Well, it would be like pretty similar, but there I would like recommend with more experimentation. So you like a very similar approach, but there you can be more creative, you can use more tactics. So in retargeting you can use more content types, you can boost the frequency more, and you can also kind of in code layer test more content variants, so you kind of build the audiences faster. So you can use like videos, you can use also the product ads in the code layer to see if it is converting there, if you can run this lead generation there as well. Maybe in the beginning it works, but over time you will need to pause it. But kind of in the beginning, kind of, let's say, waterfall approach, where in the beginning you will kind of boost it as much as possible to reach the audience and build the retargeting audiences. And then as you have more data, you can spend more, then you can refresh the ads more faster, and the benefit is you will typically get the results also faster as well. So always like watching the platform metrics for platform conversions, make sure that they are set up, then self-reported attribution and direct attribution in HubSpot or in the CRM, and then eventually using some attribution tools to make sure that you also see what it is influencing. And if you use target account lists, then you can see if these companies are converting to the CRM, and you can understand if you are reaching the right companies, and also if you are reaching the right people. So if, as I mentioned before, you look at the engagement that you have on the ads and you say, okay, this is like exactly the persona that we want to target, that our sales would talk to. So and they engage with our ads. So these are like the signals that you get, and then over time you will also get them to your CRM and talk with them.
One thing I forgot to ask you, and you mentioning self-reported attribution, right? Usually we use that to kind of get what's happening organically, right? Is our marketing actually doing the thing or not? How do you use it for the advertising? Do you get like the quality information? So you get, okay, something's happening on that platform. We are actually causing some things to happen, or in any additional way?
It's funny. It's not definitely solution for everything, because you can't read what web or internet means, which is like most of the answers that you will get. But if you see that you get the answer as a LinkedIn, so how we use it is that it's open text field that is required. It never like affected the conversion rate because the people are already interested to talk to. And there, if you see the platform is kind of showing there, so we see there's LinkedIn, and the only thing we do on LinkedIn is advertising, then we know it is influenced by that. And then also if there's like other platforms like Reddit, or if you, what you can often see is that people are coming inbound when they got some outreach from sales, or when they talked to someone on some conference or to a colleague, and they sometimes mention that, so you kind of get some insights about like the channels where they are coming from. But 80% is kind of, let's say, random things. About these like smaller signals that you kind of get the proof, okay, something is working there, we should focus more there, and or we have a proof that is working. And typically what you see when you already see a LinkedIn there, it has much higher conversion to opportunity to the deals, and the deals are typically higher when you see it already there. So there, okay, we targeted the right person, the exact person came to our website, they submitted the form, and then they want exactly what we offer. So then okay, it is like the positive signal. And yeah, it can in the beginning it can happen really fast, but yeah, over time you just collect that, and sometimes you get more and more as you are scaling the budget as well. So you will see that it is helpful, but not solution for everything.
Great, great. I ask you that because usually, it's related to the organic. You don't use self-reported attribution if you on a landing page for paid search, for
Yeah,
example,
no.
because you won't get anything out of it. But I see basically it reflects a trend that you can actually see when paid and organic are merging together, as we are doing like thought leadership ads. And it's a combination of what we are doing, so outreach as well, and then basically through self-reported attribution people can actually tell us which one of these of these efforts actually worked, and which one is the last one that they remember.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't see many people talking about it. That's actually a brilliant thing that talks about how marketing became holistic today.
Yeah, I think that's as you mentioned, like marketing. So it's like just marketing, and you are trying to find the way how to balance it, where to put the budgets, and kind of act as a business owner, where you should put the money, and where you are seeing the results. And then you cannot judge like just one channel, because it's always the combination. So if you post paid ads, like in paid search, even then like the direct organic will drop as well. So you need to make sure that you look at the metrics also more holistically, and also on the trends as well. So if you see nothing is coming directly, it's like maybe wrong, but there can be also some secondary influence that you can get from the channel, and these tactics like self-reported attribution can help you to keep track of that.
Love it. Love it. Guys, now is the moment when I tell you to stop, go back to the beginning of the episode, listen to everything again. Roman shared a lot of stuff. When you see something that is new, or you need to learn more, or you actually want to implement it, go ahead, find Roman, ask him some questions. I recommend also trying to work with him to help you actually get your results. So to be able to do that, Roman, tell me and the guys where they can find more information about you.
So I'm every day on LinkedIn, so just connect with me there, and feel free to ask any questions, and also happy to hop on the call and have a chat.
Yeah, as I'm always saying, like, you can mention that you heard about him on Funky Marketing podcast. Let's see if that works actually or no. It will be the first time. But Roman, thanks again for coming to the podcast, talking about all this stuff. I would actually like to repeat that in a couple of months and see what's new, what's happening. Guys, for you, see you in the next episode. And as I always say, keep it funky. Cheers.